Hello my friends and welcome back to Kev's Hobby Showcase. I'm of course Kevin. You may have also seen me on Tabletop Jones Productions, where John and I are the two idiots playing board games. And today I'm going to be starting a new painting series, so to speak. I've finished the aliens and now I'm getting back into Battletech minis, and I'm going to be building up a force called the Black Remnant mercenary company. And one thing I've noticed is that I believe this is brand new, probably, I guess they just recently made it, because that site that I've mentioned before, Camo Specs Online, that actually give the color schemes to basically all the different all the different factions and mercenary companies in the Battletech game. I looked it up and I could not find the Black Remnant, so I kind of had to go by the Alpha Strike cards to because on the cards that they provide, they are basically they have like they're like in color, and they have color pictures of the battle mech, and they generally have, I mean, it's generally two-sided, and on one side they usually have the color scheme of the faction that they're promoting, if they are, I mean, if it is for one particular faction. And what it showed was basically, I mean, it's very simple. It's basically like a light gray color, and of course, like black highlights here and there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prime it in black, and then I'm going to I'm going to use the lightest color gray that I have, and then of course I'll use the gunmetal on the weapons and the cockpit window, and of course black to touch up the base to get it ready for the label. And I actually have a new ribbon for my label maker, so I'll be doing that. So anyway, so first is priming. Starting these videos this weekend pretty early. It's actually on Sunday. It's a little bit busy on Saturday, and so I'm not going to do the priming on camera because it's still kind of dark out. So basically, when, after I come back, I'm going to go straight into base coat. All right, so stay tuned, and I will be right back. All right, I'm back, and primer is dry, and I just realized in my intro I did not tell you what mechs I'm going to be painting. So this is a unique one because, like I said, it's the Black Remnant. I actually bought 2 packages of the battlemechs because because on the cards, they give you the mech warrior cards, and they're double-sided, and on 2 of them, on 2 of the mechs, both sides is basically like you can use those mech warriors for for the same remnant, because usually sometimes what they would have is they would have one for the the faction that they're promoting, and then another one, and then one for a different one. So what we got here, I got 2 of the Blood Asp, not a mech I'm familiar with, but my God, do they look formidable, don't they? And 2 of the Flashman. I mean, I've heard of these. I haven't really used them much, but again, they look pretty good. All right, so we're gonna get started on the base coat. So let's get to it. All right, put you down, and there we go. Alrighty, so found the lightest color of gray that I have. It's actually called neutral gray. So we'll see. Oh yeah, I think this will be just fine. So let's get these 4. Let's get them painted. Oh yeah. Okay, and it's actually an exciting time for me right now. It is my birthday in a few days. I turn 54. Or, as they like to put up the meme on Facebook, to make it sound cooler, you could say I've reached level 54 in the game of life. And okay, as this paint is going on, I can see that the black primer is bleeding through, but that's okay, because it kind of helps with the details, actually. Because a lot of what bleeds through is the, as you can see here, it's basically showing all the little all the little nooks and crannies that they have in the mold from when they made this particular battle mech. And I think that looks cool. I think it looks really good, to be honest. The black bleeding through is actually not concerning me at all. I was going to say upsetting me, but that's I think that'd be too strong a word. All right. Yeah, and I'm actually doing this on a Sunday instead of a Saturday because yesterday was a memorial for an uncle of mine. Uncle that I really liked. Not that I don't like any of my uncles, but and it was a good chance to see family I don't normally get to see. That's always good. At least I think so. And I got to introduce my kids to family that they'll probably, unless there's a family reunion that they may never meet again. And I really hope there is a family reunion one day. It's just that part of my family is quite large. In fact, I remember one time I tried counting all the cousins, and when I kind of lost count when I reached 50. So it's, I have, it's like my father's side of the family. He was the youngest of 8. And so, there's a lot of family there. Shift my fingers so that I don't wind up painting them. And today it's a nice little plan. After I get all this filmed, it may not be until later that I actually get it put out, but because I'm doing it pretty early. But I'm going to be heading over to my mother's for a nice birthday celebration. I always enjoy that. This is a pretty large battle mech. I think I finally have all of it covered in this paint. Wow. It's actually looking pretty good. May as well get the other blood asp, right? So it's a busy weekend. And I kind of gave myself a birthday present of some time off from work. So I'll be home for the next few days. Maybe I'll make some shorts, get them up. Because it's as weird as it sounds, the shorts seem to get more views than my actual videos. That's why I always say, please like, subscribe, and share, and all that. Because I am trying to reach more people. And I actually have seen they have like this whole analytics thing that we can use to monitor the activity on the channels. And I've noticed, and this is actually, it's something that I've noticed a lot of YouTubers saying, that most of the people watching, like 80%, are not subscribers. And it's actually, I think it's pretty much true for me as well, because I was looking at the viewership, and it's like over 80% of the people watching are not subscribed. I'm like, oh. So I'm going to say, if you're watching this and you haven't clicked that subscribe button, please do. Because the only thing that will happen on your end is you will be, well, unless if you click the notify button, you'll be notified, but you will see my videos more often if you subscribe. And you will pay nothing. $0. So I think it's a good deal. I think it's a good exchange there. Now, getting back to the task at hand, this is pretty much what I'm doing. What I'm doing right now is the bulk of the painting that has to be done for these battle mechs. Yeah. Never mind that beeping noise. Some cooking is being done. Alright. Anyway, as I was saying, as far as like the basing goes, I'm going to probably just do grassland, because I'm not exactly sure what is the lore behind this mercenary company, so just doing grassland on the base is like the easiest thing to do. until more is said about it, or written, I should say. Just, don't want to make assumptions. Besides, I think most of what I have is still the grassland stuff, so that factors in greatly, of course. And let's get the, yeah, okay. Alright, and of course I'm getting paint on my fingers, but, it's like I always say, if you see paint on my fingers, I've had a good day. Alright, so now with this, it's basically like the same thing that I did when I was building the Davion Force, or Federated Sons as they are sometimes called. First, it's going to break down into like 5 videos. So the first is going to be, this, painting some battlemechs. And then next is vehicles. I got, a package of tanks that I'm going to use for this. Then after that, infantry. Got the another package, well, another package and a half, I should say, of the standard battle armor, inner sphere battle armor. And then to finish off the vehicles, because thankfully when they sell the package of the vehicles, they actually have enough in there for 2 full lances of vehicles. And then after that, the last one will be the other 2 mechs from the package, which you know what? I don't remember which ones they were, and I don't have them in front of me, so I can't even look. That's all right. We'll find out then. We'll find out together. Okay. All right, getting close to being done. After this, after this Flashman, I got one more Flashman. Almost sounds like I'm saying something dirty. Anyway, so yeah, after this one, I got the next one. And I'll just let this paint dry. And when it does, of course, I'll come back. Whoops, almost dropped it. Come back with details, which is really not much. It's just going to be basically painting the weapons and the cockpit window. And after that, it's the basing. Do the wash really quick. Well, of course, the basing I do mean also the labels. And again, I do the labels mainly just so I can easily identify what I have, because it's definitely not required for this game to do that. That would be kind of silly. I mean, if they were going to require that, then they may as well just have them on the base already, But yeah, so I'm going to front, it's going to say Black Remnant, and the back's going to say what the mech is, as always. And as always, I'll do most of them off camera, and I'll save one to do on camera. It's been a while since I painted some Battletech stuff. Actually feels good to do it again. And I know it's been a longer while since I've done any of the Marvel game pieces. Eventually I will. I just don't have any new ones yet. Might be a little while before I have some. And that is this, well, see, this game and also that, that Marvel game that I just mentioned. These are just some of the games that we're going to be doing on Tabletop Jones Productions. Like I said, John has been involved in the haunted house out here. I think this coming, well, actually probably next weekend, since Halloween is on Friday. That will most likely be the final weekend, and then he and I will basically be getting back to work. Working around the Giants schedule, because I also have been doing my fan coverage of the Giants on this channel, which I will be recording that later when they play the Eagles. Hopefully they can give us another win against that team. It's been a long time since they swept them in a season. Yeah, so it's going to be a busy day. Okay, all right, that's, whew, that's all 4 of them. Yeah. Dang it. All right. Okay, so that's the base coat on all 4 of these battlemechs. We're going to let that dry, and when I come back, it's going to be with the gunmetal, and I'll be touching up the base. All right, so stay tuned, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and that base coat is pretty much dry, so let's get started on all the little details, which won't be much. All right. Okay. All right, so basically, what I'm going to do now is use gunmetal, as I've said, on the weapons and the cockpit window. And then I'm going to, excuse me, and then I'm going to use black on the base to touch up the base. Okay, let's get started here. So now, like I said, eventually, we're going to be getting back to this game on Tabletop Jones Productions, and it's probably going to be at first going to be the Alpha Strike way of playing, but I am going to try to get John ready to play the classic mode. The only thing is with that, it will take longer. So we may have to break it up into, quite a few videos. And we may also have to frequently turn the cameras off, because we're going to be doing a lot of filling in of data sheets. But there's a couple of games coming up that might be like that. Well, at least one other one. That's we finally do Federation Commander, which is a Star Trek based game. And that one not only does has a lot of the fill-in for the data sheets, but also has a lot of math to figure out, because it's all based on power allocation. That's where the math comes in. Okay, so all right, so for the blood asp, it's basically what these 2 big guns on the shoulders, 2 big ones at the end of the arm, and that's pretty much all the visible ones. Okay, that's that one. And like I said, I've mentioned this a number of times. So doing this in like the assembly line method, take a color and go through all the minis that need it, then move on to the next color, and then on and on and on. It's like the easiest way, also the most efficient way to do it. Alright. Okay, this is coming along pretty good. I probably could have waited a bit longer for the paint to be more dry, but this is fine. Okay. And I will say, I am excited for the day that we get back to this game, because I do enjoy playing it. I mean, I've been into this game for years, but never got to play it as much as I wanted to, because you need someone to play against. And that was always what held me back, is lack of opponent. And for, especially when I was younger, there was like really nowhere for me to go that people were playing this game. I mean, nowadays you can, sometimes with gaming stores or hobby stores, like they may have, areas where you can just get together and play these games. They have that now, but not back then. I am in my 50s, so it was a much different atmosphere back then. I mean, they may have had some places, but they were like very few and far between. So it was basically, when you played these games, you had to hope that your friends played them as well, or that you would become friends with someone who played them as well. And that was not my luck. But that's okay, because now got my friend John. He's introducing me to the games that he likes, and we've been playing them. I'm doing the same with the ones I like, and we've been playing them. We always take turns, so that one particular person isn't dominating what games we play. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Almost slipped out of my fingers. If you hear that alarm, I do apologize. People around where I live don't seem to know how to use their alarms, or they don't seem to know how to take control of them. At least that one wasn't like right outside my house. Like, there's one person that lives around here. Alarm is always going off every damn day. And some of you would be like saying, "Why are you complaining about that?" Well, you hear that blaring sound every day, eventually it becomes real annoying. Okay. Oops. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. There we go. Oh, okay. Oh, almost done with this one. Well, actually, maybe not, because I think that, there's little bits here and there that I still got to get. Okay. Yeah, like these little, I think they're guns, so I put the gun metal on it. Now, let's see, where would the cockpit window be? I'm going to take a chance and say that it is right there, because that looks like where someone would be sitting down and controlling this big monstrosity. Yeah. I shouldn't say that, because a lot of these mechs, I feel like they look very cool. Okay, trying to get this little piece covered without putting like a glob of paint on it. Alright, now we're down to the last one. After this, we're going to touch up the base, and then we're going to let that paint dry, and we'll finish it up. I just put a glob of paint down. That's all right. Okay, let's get that other big gun. So it's at the that memorial I was talking about, and had some of my cousins. I was telling them what I do, what I'm trying to do, like outside of my job. You know, hopes that this would, you know, catch on enough where I could retire. And they were like, "Where do you find the time to do all this?" Yeah, because I was telling them about the channels, I was telling them about the writing. You know, and for those of you just finding me, I mean, I do write science fiction stories. I actually have one that I kind of redid a little bit as a serial, so that I've been reading it, you know, on camera. One of these days I'll hook up with a, well, I shouldn't say hook up. One of these days I'll join up with a an illustrator, so that when I read the stories, you don't just have to look at me. You can actually, you know, can actually see like an illustration related to what it is that I am reading. But for now, it's just me. Actually, that's the whole point of this, whole bit of this channel is just me. There's no one behind the camera. There's no one else involved in the content. It is all me. Alright, so put that down. Alright, so the gunmetal's finished. Alright, let's get that out. Now, let's touch up the base. Alright. Okay. That's one. Okay, because, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Just to make it look like neater and cleaner, I like to touch up the base, you know, with the black paint, so that all the stray, you know, all the stray bits that I unfortunately got on here can get covered up. This way it looks better with the label. Whoops. Alright. I just think it looks better all around. Although sometimes when I do it, I think I wind up wiping off some of the paint onto my fingers, which can be a little frustrating. And one thing I learned, though, that's life. Life is frustrating. Alright, and that's the last bit. Okay. Let me clean the brush. Alright, I'll do that back later. Okay. Okay. Whoops, there we go. Alright, so we're going to let all that dry, and when we come back, I'm going to do the labels, I'm going to do the base, and the wash. Alright, so and it's all going to be finished. Alright, so stay tuned, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I actually put all the labels on because I did get new ribbon, but they changed the way they make it. So it's like, you know, the back, you got to peel it off in two parts, and it was a bitch to get off. So rather than have you see me struggle with it, I just decided to put all the labels on. But so we're going to go right to the base. All right, so yeah, all right, so I could do that and that, and here we go. All right, so I just didn't want to struggle with it on camera. Whereas it might be entertaining to you, to me, it would just be a long, drawn-out piece of frustration. So, basically, it's what's left is to just do this, and then the wash. Oh boy! Please don't knock the label off. It took enough to get them on. All right. So, and like I said, I'm going to use grassland, and I'm actually looking at these and realizing, well, I better get more of this stuff because I'm starting to run out. And these, you know, the packs for this I've always found at Michael's, so it's most likely where I'm going to return to go get them. And who knows, maybe I'll find something better. Okay, that's actually going on pretty good. Alright. Alright, there we go. And of course I use the same brush to spread it because once you get glue on these brushes, that's it. You can never use them for actual painting. Okay. And of course, as I said before, this is going to be just the first of 5 videos for this force that I'm building. And at some point, it's going to be going from building, oops, let me just put this down for, it's going to be going from building forces to reinforcements. Because there are some factions that I do have, like lances of and whatnot. You know, some that I got from starter sets, some that I got from other lance packs, but you know, some that I put together from battlemechs that I've had, and then utilizing mech warrior cards that I've had. All right, let me put that there so I don't keep having to struggle with it. Let me put this away. I don't need that no more. Okay, put this away. I don't need that no more. And we're going to straight to the wash. Okay. Yep. Here's where we really make everything stand out. Alright. Okay. That's one down. Let's get the others. You don't need to do too much on it, just enough to sink into all those little nooks and crannies and make all the finer details of the model stand out. Okay. Blood asps are done. Get the 2 flashmen. Okay. Okay. Put that away. Put that away. Okay. So here we go. First lance for the Black Remnant. Ready to deploy. Okay. Didn't turn out too bad, right? So, that's it. That's all I got for today. That's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you please like, subscribe, and share as much as possible. Also, please go to Tabletop Jones Productions and do the same there. That's the best way to support the channels. And as I always say, a subscription on YouTube costs $0. So you're supporting the channel and it's not putting you out at all. All right. And I am up to 44 subscribers. I'd like to make it to 50, and we'd like to make it to 50 on Tabletop Jones Productions, because when we do that, we can do live stream games. For some reason, they want us to have 50 subscribers before we can do that. We don't know why. So yeah, maybe one day you could see us play Battletech. Maybe I'll take out this force and go against the Davion force. Who knows? Maybe we'll do something else. We don't know yet. But we need to get to 50 subscribers before we can do that. All right, so anyway, again, thank you very much for watching. Please take care of yourself. Have a great day, and I will see you again.